Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Kirby Fair Show. We are joined today by Sam. Sam, say hello.
Hello, happy to be back. Been a while.
It's been a while, but it's been the sports didn't slow down, did they?
Not there's more sports than ever this time of year.
It's been quite a treat. It's been sad now that the WNBA season is over. But, you got to have that mindset of I'm glad it happened. I'm sad that it's over, but I'm happy that it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's okay. But we have to wait an entire another year. So yeah, guess we got Flage lined up at LSU. But yeah, football is heating up. We're at week 8.
That's crazy.
That's insane. What else? Basketball's back, baseball's around.
Hockey's starting.
Hockey, don't get me started on hockey.
There's too much.
Hockey, I don't think I'll ever approve to come into the Kirby Fair show. Like I saw this thing today that was like all the games going on this weekend, and it was like 16 NFL games, 5 baseball games, and then like 49 hockey games.
Yeah.
Why? In an entire week. We don't need that many.
How does one person keep up with all of these leagues? They don't.
I think you just have to choose.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you can juggle like 3 solidly.
Yeah, like NFL's pretty easy, There's only really like 2 or 3 days that count, and then sprinkle in some basketball since it's like every night.
Yeah, exactly. And then like Monday and Thursday night are always a toss-up.
Yeah,
for the
usually
NFL,
it's like,
whether you can go to sleep or not.
It's a stinker tonight. Like, ooh.
Who was it last night? The Bucks and the Ravens. It started good, and then the Ravens just took over, which it seems like is going to be the entire story of this season for the Ravens. And halfway through that game, I thought, man, am I going to be a Bucks fan?
Why? What's convincing you to be a Bucks fan?
Well, the first couple of weeks of football, I don't know if I expressed this to you, but I was like, why am I not enjoying this like I used to?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on? And I realized it's because my quarterbacks that everyone hates on, Kirk Cousins and Baker Mayfield, are now in the NFC South, and I can't cheer for them anymore.
That's fair. Yeah.
I was like, God damn it. I have to choose some more unsung heroes or people that roast them unnecessarily. But then I was like,
Sam
you know what?
Darnold.
Maybe I can bring Baker back into the fold because I love him so much. And then he threw 3 interceptions, and I was like, that's him. He's back.
Baker's back.
But then Godwin broke his leg, or I think his ankle was dislocated. Yeah. Something
Mike
crazy happened. Too. So I'm like, well, that was a fleeting thought. I don't know. But yeah, the WNBA, let's start there.
Yeah.
Unbelievable season, unbelievable playoffs. Unfortunately, Caitlin Clark went out in the first round, as most of us expected.
Not too shocking.
You were paying attention to sports in general. But the Fever, they got it next year, maybe.
Yeah.
It ended up being the Liberty and the Minnesota Lynx, which was actually the Commissioner's Cup matchup, and Minnesota took that win. So that was kind of like tense coming in, and it was probably the most, insane, engaging series of basketball we've had probably since I really started that sentence like I had crazy recall.
Without a thought.
Yeah, I know.
Like the 3-1 comeback from LeBron, or has there been something between now
back
and
then? Forth, like one person wins.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean
does the NBA
what was it like?
Go to Game 7 anymore?
The Timberwolves and the Mavericks in like the Western Conference Finals last year. That was a pretty good back and forth match.
But it's like the thing about this one, and I don't quite recall. I know I watched it, but I don't quite recall. Is that all of these games came down to like the most was 5 points, and that was last night's game or the day before. So like all of them were tight down to the end. Like I'd say for most of them, I couldn't tune in into probably Oh yeah, because flag football is heating up, guys. And if you listened to the last episode, you heard Mike say that I'm great at flag football, which is continuously true.
Hashtag
I
confirmed.
got gloves recently for the first time for protective wear per my father. And turns out I played an entire game with them on backwards.
Hey,
So the slippery side was what I was catching the ball with.
that's just you proving how good you're at. She doesn't need the grippy side. She'll take the slippy side.
I was like, why is the ball coming in here like this? Like, I was just like, all of the balls, I kept going like, and then having to really struggle to catch them until I was like, guys, you guys like my, I didn't send you this because the Cowboys are quite on a slide, but I was like, you guys see my, you guys see my gloves? They make a cowboy star. And as I'd been looking at them, I was like, this doesn't really like, I don't see the star coming together. And then they're like, Kirby, they're on backwards. And I was like,
no.
that's why I have you guys, and that's why we're a team. I was so embarrassed. But I was like, yeah, clearly I'm not a... I was like, you know what? I was talking to my dad, and he was like, Kirby, don't be a hero. Because, you know, I see going out there as a wide receiver with no gloves as being a hero. Because, you know, I'm better than you because I can catch
and
without gloves on.
We know you like to lay it out all on the line, too, given how it ended last season. So the gloves, maybe that'll protect some fingers, you know, hopefully.
Well, I already busted up my thumb without the gloves, which
exactly
brought back in the gloves. But it turns out the glove is not a... how do you say, a brace. So it would have prevented the injury, but it's not keeping it tight. Anyways.
WNBA.
I'm injured, what's new? So the first two of the 5 games went into overtime. And four of the 5 were within 5 points, and 3 were within 3 points. And so, like, because of flag football, you know, I've been getting in and out of, you know, my obligations, coming home late. And so I probably haven't been able to watch but the half of the third into the fourth quarter, and that's all you need to watch.
Yeah.
Glued to the TV. Caroline is like screaming. I'm closing my eyes. Like, we're talking like to the wire. It's insane viewership. And the viewers, right, Sam? The viewers were in, and they saw
they're there.
How beautiful this was.
We did. We had 2.2 million viewers tuned in on average Sunday night, with viewership peaking at 3.3 million, which is a 142% increase since last year's championship deciding game. And yeah, and that was a game without Caitlin Clark too. So
what can you say, people?
I think people just like the W. People just like tuning in.
The W?
The W?
Are you saying people? Oh yeah, sorry, Miss Jean, if you're listening. We have a little bit more of women's basketball to discuss, so but we will get into the men games soon. And the sad thing is, last year's finals were unbelievable too. Obviously, I'm sad the Aces didn't make it in, but you know, I had to slowly come back to my roots as a Liberty fan. And it definitely helped that Caroline was cheering on the Lynx. So it was, you know, I love like a house divided vibe.
House divided, yeah.
Yeah, so like I'm thinking I really want to get Gigi for Christmas, but that would I keep getting these Chewy ads for little jerseys.
Oh, they know you so well.
Oh, immediately after I got Gigi, I get ads for like, do you have a reactive dog? Here's a tutorial like... for $60 a month on how you can train them to freak out less. And it's like
Tim Cook is getting a push notification like, oh, there's a dog barking all the time on this iPhone that's listening.
I'm like, Jesus Christ. But oh yeah, so I want to get 2, a Saints and a Bengals, and cut in half and sew it together, but that would require me buying 2 different
dog jerseys,
which seems absolutely insane. But Gigi's like a trooper with clothes, so like I know she'll wear it.
Yeah. My sister one time, we're a house divided. My dad went to Iowa State and my mom went to Iowa. Naturally, that's why she's a big Caitlin Clark stan. And my sister took just a plain white t-shirt and had like fabric markers and did one side Iowa State and the other side Iowa. and she was putting them on the cats as we were watching the football game or whatever.
Oh my
And
God.
after a certain point, she cut it in half and gave one half to one cat and the other half to another cat. So,
I
hey,
mean,
that's always an option.
There is
DIY.
nothing like the power of a plain white t-shirt and a Sharpie.
Exactly.
I'll tell you that. Man, that got me through a lot of homecoming weeks in high school. I think I had one that just said, "Luke, I am your father." I don't even remember what I was trying to do. Why that was relevant.
Did you say Luke or Luca?
Luke.
Okay.
I was doing like a Star Wars thing,
Yeah.
but that doesn't make any sense. Anyways, I don't even know where we are. Yeah, basketball, aces. Oh, of course, A'ja Wilson won the MVP for the third time in a row. Sadly, couldn't three-peat the championship. But, you know, her and Bam are going strong, and all of that internet fodder is phenomenal. If you don't know about it, look it up. The Bam Adebayo and A'ja Wilson shipping, but for real, that hasn't been confirmed. What has been confirmed is honestly like the basketball version of Taylor and Trav.
And Travis. There's I think it's like ESPN or something. Or no, it was like the TNT crew released their top 20 NBA players today.
Excellent.
And in the photo they have Bam wearing an A'ja jersey and like making a little like heart with his hands, and A'ja retweeted it with a GIF that was like like it was good. You should look it up.
Excellent. No, for real. That is excellent social media from the TNT people.
They know. And speaking of big controversies,
yes, give it to me, Daddy.
The W. What happened in Game 5, Kirby?
Yeah, so I would love your thoughts on this, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Cheryl Reeves, the coach of the Lynx.
Here, let's back up. Let's back up real quick.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Let's say what happened in the game towards the end of the fourth quarter. The Liberty were down, I believe, and
I can do this. Listeners, close your eyes because I'm about to paint a fucking picture. Amazing game. It's Game 5.
Mm-hmm.
Liberty are absolute sucking the socks off of like it. I don't love that one. The Liberty stink. None of their shots are going in. It was so bad. They ended up being 30% from the field. Sabrina Ionescu
was 1 for 19.
1 for 19. The only one she hit was a 3, as she was like 1 for 16 or 0 for 16, hits the 3 and then misses everything else. And I'm pretty sure both teams who are known for hitting threes were like 0 for 30 or something. It was insane. So it was a real defensive night. Put that into perspective. Low scoring game. So the end of the game is coming. We're going back and forth. No one's really scoring. And you might see there's some fouls being called here. A little bit ticky-tacky. And Breanna Stewart is the receiver of most of the foul calls. So she goes up there to the foul line, and it'd been tight the entire time. She hits one to like tie the game, and then misses the second one to take the lead. So now we're like, fuck, here we go again. Because in Game 1, they could have won the fucking game, but she missed both free throws, and then they went to overtime. Then she missed the last, like, the bucket that was wide open to then tie it overtime, to then go back into overtime. Anyways, so this is like story of the entire series is these free throws from Breanna Stewart possibly missing. But she's getting a good bit of calls, and Nafisa Collier on the other side, controversially, was getting her face thwacked and was not getting any calls. And some might call it all ball, some might call it, such as the refs, called it interfering, hitting her fingies, and called some free throws. So it goes in overtime. And this was the point where I closed my eyes, because Breanna Stewart had missed some big free throws this series. Probably you could call it a storyline. And she lands them. Goes right in. And there's like 0 seconds left. Like it's like 2 seconds. Like, what are you going to do? And it had been an amazing game, really, from the bigs. They went Sabali was in there, and she doesn't usually play. But since it wasn't a great offensive night, they're like, let's play some D. She had a great night. And so it ended up being decided, as some might say, at the foul line, which no one likes the refs to be a part of the game. Do you, Sam?
No, every time I see that yellow flag get thrown in an NFL game, I just like roll my eyes. I'm like, what's going on now? Like, let them play, ref.
I mean, there's nothing I love more, though, than Saturday night in Death Valley, and LSU's on offense, and then I see a flag for pass interference, and I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
That's what that is burned into my mind. I will always remember a nice pass interference, because in college it's a spot foul.
That's true. Yeah.
And so these kids just throw it up there, knowing that the other kids, such as, can't defend. Like, it's just like pass interference coming at all times.
Yeah.
For college DBs, which is fine. But anyways, it's it's crazy out here in the last 5 minutes, because it's just like foul, 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 and they're going New York's way. We're in New York, they're going New York's way. What can we do about it? Cheryl Reeve's had a problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
Coach of the Lynx, and I personally, I think I loved it. She created a lot of controversy. And it seems like she's going to get a big fat fine from the WNBA.
I know all the headlines will be Reeve cries foul. Bring it on, right? Bring it on, because this shit was stolen from us. Bring it on. You shouldn't have to overcome to that extent. This shit ain't that hard. Officiating it's not that hard. There are 3 of the games in the series, we're talking about the same damn thing.
That's fair. Yeah.
But I want your thoughts on crying foul.
I think it's hard to see the free throw disparity. You have it here listed in Game 5 that the Liberty shot 25 free throws and the Lynx only shot 8. Usually I feel like I'd expect those to be like relatively close, unless it's like, there's a real big, obviously, fouling. But yeah, it just sucks when, the refs are a part of the storyline, and, I don't know. It just stinks that it has to color this for the Liberty, who just won, and also the Lynx, who feel like they were cheated because of it. So it just sucks.
I don't know. I'm kind of like here for the pettiness. I think that's the real thing here, is like,
you love the content.
Like, not even. Like, she was so fiery, and like, first thing she said, she was certain. She was like, this is going to be the talking point.
Like, there was no filter afterwards.
Exactly. And everyone, you can see the players are like, all right, we're going for this. Cool. So then it turns, spilled into social media. Nafisa Collier posted a post finals, like, great season, and then just photos of all the fouls that weren't called. I was like, okay, queen, like, let's go. But is that going to change anything? I think I'm just such a quiet, like, whatever happens, and like, I'm probably not going to complain about it.
Same, yeah.
Definitely not on social media. Like, my friends will know that I was wronged.
Oh, yeah.
But, maybe that's just because no one wants to hear what I have to fucking say. And I would just get called out as a little bitch. But you never know. I was kind of like, this is great. But what was great, really, was afterwards. After the Lynx left the stage, obviously the Liberty come on, and the press are asking Sandy Blondello, the coach of the New York Liberty, is saying, like, well, what'd you think about all the fouls and what Cheryl Reeves just said? And she was like, well, shit happens. We won. I was like, sis, can you do that?
I mean, they won, so.
I think they were definitely high on excitement at that point. Not quite drunk, but the Moet bottles were on the table. Let's just say that.
I think the best thing that can come out of this is we get a little rivalry forming, going into the next season. Still 2 really good teams. They've been good throughout the whole regular season, so it's just going to be more drama for next season, I feel like.
Oh, and then Cheryl Reeve was so fucking petty. She goes, well, I guess it's nice that they were able to, the Liberty were able to get their first championship.
I mean, congratulations to the Liberty on their first championship. Been around, I don't know, how long has the league been around? 28 years? It took them 28 years. Congrats to them. You know, we were that close to our fifth.
Fierce.
Come on.
I was like, okay, you're like, she pulled out every single shot she could have taken.
Yeah.
To be the most petty. And I mean, she already won a championship. She was the coach for the U.S. Women's national team at the Olympics. So I love a competitor. Love the spirit there. Yeah. Well, before I keep going, which I feel like I haven't talked nearly as much as I could about the series, the finals of the WNBA. Courtney Williams, amazing. Sabrina, amazing. Jonquil Jones, my favorite player since last year, which, you know, hey, was the MVP. I actually met this guy in CamCon the other day when we were watching the finals, or no, game 4. And he was like, I was like talking shit. And he was like, oh, you like the WNBA? Because apparently talking shit gives you a little bit of like, oh, she must know what she's talking about, unless you're just like a white man, to which, yeah. And I was like, hey, you listen, oh, shut up, man. Because I took his phone and made him follow the Kirby Fair show on all the platforms. And he goes, yeah, so I know JJ from high school.
Oh my gosh, what?
And I'm really excited to like reach out to her and say congrats. And the first thing I thought last night when she won, I was like, man's gonna have something else to say and say congrats on winning MVP.
Oh
this
my
random
gosh.
dude, I think his name is Dan or Dave. Anyways.
Shout out Dave / maybe Dan.
/ maybe like Adam or something. I've been thinking a lot of guys' names are Adam lately. But as the closing of the WNBA season has met us, we're going to take a break. Not until next May, but for about 25 seconds.
Are you like me and live in a bogus area of the United States that doesn't have central AC? If so, first, I'm sorry. But boy, do I have the solution for you. The Medea U-shaped window AC will save your sanity, your relationships, and your wallet. The Medea is ultra quiet and ultra cooling, with that cool breeze flowing up to 20 feet. And, if you're weird, you can also connect it to Wi-Fi and control using your phone. Wowza! The U-shaped design allows you to completely close and open your window without risking the lives of passerbys below your overpriced New York apartment. Medea. It's heavy, but worth it.
And we're back.
Well, thanks for bringing us back there, Sam. Since we haven't really, we've been on hiatus, I guess, since the NFL started. So we're going into week 8 and a ton has happened. And, you know, some might call me an oracle.
Some, yeah.
Some, you know, it's really, I think I text you all of my thoughts so that I can have receipts. Which is where you get some weird stuff at like 7 a.m. But, so there's some stuff going into the season. You know, you're like, I feel pretty pumped about this. Or, man, they might be bad. And going into week 8 here, Sam, I want to check in with you. What are your biggest shocks and disappointments going into week 8?
Biggest
almost
shocks?
Halfway point of the season.
Yeah. You know, as a Packers fan, I think a big shock right now is just the state of the NFC North.
Right?
No way expected the Vikings to be, I guess they're 5-1 now, but still, like, what? They're good, I guess.
The Vikings were good.
And the Bears, too. They've been doing solid with Caleb Williams. I was kind of really just expecting kind of be the Lions and the Packers fighting for first place, but now every team in the NFC North, at least as of last week, they were at least 4-2. Some of them were undefeated, but it's a good division. Like, they're the top of the NFC right now, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out once there's some more divisional games there.
And they've had a lot happen too, the NFC North. Like, it's not all I guess you like it's one of your shocks, but like Caleb Williams, everyone was like, Caleb Williams is gonna be great. Bear, like, literally I heard grown men who are getting paid to talk into a mic on ESPN and Fox Sports say Bears are going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's a little
Like,
I feel like
come
that's a
on.
stretch.
And, as expected, he struggled a ton. I think he won the first game without throwing a touchdown, but just like pure, it was a defensive
It was all the
score.
defense, yeah.
And he sucked. And so that was a big shock to some people.
Yeah.
But he kind of turned it around. He's playing good ball now. So thankfully the Chicago Bears are good. And then we got the Vikings, who were 4-0. Were they 5-0 before they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were 5-0. So it was just them and the Chiefs who were undefeated going into week 6. And yeah. And they're basically playing their backup quarterback as their starting quarterback, Sam Darnold, who some would some would argue should be a starting quarterback. And I mean, looking at his performance, I agree with that. But they brought him in just as like, hey,
it's supposed to be JJ McCarthy starting.
Yeah, just like, hey, maybe this kid from Michigan who, in one game versus Penn State only threw 5 passes and, they ran like for 500 yards. Maybe he won't be ready for the NFL. Yeah. So let's go get Sam NFL Warren Darnold to come around. And he's been playing lights out. Justin Jefferson's definitely helping. You haven't really heard a lot about their defense, so I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And then the Lions are still cooking. They are not the same old Lions.
Oh, yeah.
They embarrassed the Cowboys, which is also when Aiden Hutchinson went down with a terrible injury. Caroline was like, Kirby, you like pimple popping. Can you go look at the video and tell me what happened? And I was like, I got you. I got you, girl. Don't worry. I'm ashamed to say, but I do like pimple popping. And it was a gruesome, but you can find all the nasty shit on Twitter. Like ESPN wouldn't, was it ESPN or was it Fox?
I don't remember.
But they were like, so we're not going to replay it. And I was like, all right, Twitter, here I come. Yeah. Because they post everything.
Yeah.
But they're great. Jared Goff is actually questioning whether this is Jared Goff.
Yeah.
And the old Jared Goff wasn't really Jared Goff.
Who's the real Jared Goff?
I wouldn't say it's a big shock with the Chiefs, but the Chiefs are currently the only undefeated team. And
you'd think the quarterback was putting up all these numbers if that was the case.
Bad.
Wrong.
Patrick Mahomes is playing probably the worst football of his life, which I don't love, but somehow the Chiefs are still winning. Obviously, the defense is electric. What do they like to say? The steel curtain, the
Pittsburgh
98 Bears or some shit.
Oh yeah.
It's not the 98 Bears.
The 85.
The 85 Bears. To just say people have a great defense. They're like, oh man, they're like the 85 Bears. And then inevitably someone says, there's no way they could be the 85 Bears because blah, 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 because they were alive in 1985. No offense.
No offense.
But yeah, so I think the vibe now is, what do I have? Yeah, Patrick Mahomes can only win MVP if the Chiefs go 17-0. But if they go 16-1, he won't win it because he's playing like trash.
Be interesting.
But he does come in clutch when he needs to come. He needs to be good. So it's but what are you doing?
Yeah.
Maybe it's the 2 kids, as someone who is young and has the option to become a parent. It does seem like I would get worse at other things if I had a child. Gigi, the dog, I'm barely holding my standards together. Barely keeping it together. So if I had a real ass child that cried at night for a serious duration of time, because I can wait Gigi out.
Yeah.
When she's in the cage and crying, but a real ass baby. Apparently you aren't supposed to let them cry it out anymore.
Oh, really?
You have to go comfort them or some shit.
Tech.
Yeah, and back in the day, the 1800s when they just give it baby bourbon and call it a night. Can't do that anymore. So maybe it's that, or maybe he's fighting with his wife about being a Trump supporter. It must be that home stuff. Isn't that what they always say about women?
I don't know what you're on at this point. All
right. That's so fair. Yeah, the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes sucks. He doesn't suck. He's Patrick Mahomes, but the Chiefs are.
He's
good.
just not up to the standard that he's set previously.
So I would say that's a shock and a disappointment because I'm ready to see Patrick Mahomes ball out. But of course, he doesn't have the weapons. All of them are hurt. We'll see if they pick up Cooper Kupp.
Oh,
That'll be interesting.
Yeah. You know what, actually? Speaking of balling out, and another shock is just how well the Washington Commanders have been playing with Jayden Daniels.
I didn't see it.
It's like, you didn't see it happening?
Is it a great surprise? Yes.
I'd say it's a great surprise. I don't think anyone's expecting, new head coach, new offensive play caller, rookie quarterback. Nobody really expected it, and they're leading the NFC East. So
yeah, no, they're
on fire.
What are they? Are they
5-2?
5 yeah, they're the internet just like I wish it was better formatted. But yeah, they're 5-2, which isn't like for the Commanders. Looking at last season to now,
that's good. Yeah,
and everyone was saying Jayden Daniels is too skinny and can't take hits and blah 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 blah. Like, I mean, he's 5-2, and Tua was placed on IR. So what are you gonna?
Oh yeah,
truly bless his heart. But he might be coming back. That is a whole nother thing I don't want to dip into. But Jayden Daniels has been lighting it up. Everything he did in college, he is doing in the NFL, which I don't think anyone saw come in. And he was electrifying in college.
Yeah, they're fun to watch, and hopefully they can make the playoffs with him. Hopefully he's not injured for more
too
than
long.
Yeah,
but they got Marcus Mariota back there.
Mariota, yeah. He beat the Panthers, so what more could you ask for?
That's true. But Joe Burrow beat the Panthers, and we're hoping that says a lot about his season. I mean, he almost beat the Ravens, too. He should have beat the Ravens. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
The kickers, that has been a disappointment of the season. The kickers in the NFL have really stunk it up.
Trust me, as a Packers fan, I feel it until last week. We got a new kicker, so...
I think I was up against someone in fantasy that I didn't have anyone left to play, but like I guess the Jets were playing on Monday night, and the only player they had was Zerline.
Greg Zerline.
And I was like, oh, I got this.
Wrong.
I got beat by like 0.5, but because Greg Zerline like made one extra point, but missed all. Like he should have gotten negative points for that performance. If you think about it, the Jets should technically be like, what are they, 2-5? They really should be 3-3. Yeah. Kicking and Aaron Rodgers, but kicking that one game really new for them.
The Bills, he missed 2 or something.
It was really disgusting. And Jets, what can you do? You look at Aaron Rodgers and he's a dick and blaming all his teammates.
They're just kind of disgusting all over, Traded for Devontae, still lost to the Steelers, and that's probably a little bit of a shock, that the Jets, aren't better with Aaron Rodgers. I think last year with Zach Wilson, I saw they were 4-3 at this point. Now they're 2-5. Who knows? I guess I don't know. It must suck to be a Jets fan. So shout out the Jets fans who go through this every season.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Can we call the Jets a shock or a surprise? Because the Jets
I don't think so.
Are the Jets.
I think in retrospect, no, because the Jets are the Jets, but there was a lot of hype and build up. It's like, we finally got Rodgers back. We got the quarterback. It's all different. And
we should have known. We should have known. We should have been played by our own
coach was fired minds. 4 games in, so
I'm just too
what can you do?
Freaking hopeful. I'm always like, this is gonna be great.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is gonna be the player he was the year before he left Green Bay.
Yeah.
The 4-time MVP is not playing
he's 41, so.
Right, I almost wrote that down.
Achilles tear.
I almost wrote that down. I was like, he's 41. And it's like, but what does that mean anymore?
What does that mean?
Because Tom Brady, when he retired at 42, he switched teams.
He's 45, right?
he switched teams in his 40s, and then he went on to win the Super Bowl. So, like, you
Who
know.
knows?
But yeah, the Jets are dirt. They're 2-5. And Aaron Rodgers' whole thing is that he protects the ball. But the baby has 10 touchdowns and 7 interceptions, which is like
Tied second most, I think.
below, like, probably like the bottom 25 of quarterbacks this year. Like, he's not even a median quarterback. Like, he's actually playing bad,
Yeah.
which is crazy. Like, you'd think, I mean, obviously we didn't even say this, but the Jets' whole drama started with them firing Robert Saleh, the head coach for 5 seasons?
3 or 4, yeah.
And the thing is, they stuck with Robert Saleh for a lot.
And they had like 5 or 6 games with Rodgers finally.
And they were 2-4, could have been 3-3, and they fired the man. And we're all like, Bill Belichick is like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
And if Bill Belichick doesn't get it, I can't understand.
No one can. Yeah.
But clearly people in the NFL don't like, he's probably like, damn, I don't want to go back in the NFL.
He's getting paid to sit at home right now, so can't ask for a better job.
But Robert Saleh, I feel bad for the dude. I don't think he deserved that. If anything, he deserved to get fired in the offseason.
The defense was good. He was the defensive coach, so.
But Aaron Rodgers is trying to put the pieces back together. Like you said, they brought in Davante Adams from the Raiders, who had a hamstring injury for like the first 4 weeks.
Until he was traded, yep. His hamstring felt good after that.
What can you do? I'm shocked Davante Adams went to the Jets.
I'm not too shocked, honestly.
Well, I mean, it made it easier that it was between the Saints and the Jets. The Saints, again, people really should, like, it's like overreaction the first 3 weeks. And it's just like, guys, like, nothing's changed. The Saints are still the Saints. Like, I'm sorry they won their first 2 games and beat the shit out of the Cowboys, but turns out the Cowboys suck too. So, I really need to find a new team to support. Because the Chiefs, not fun to watch. The Saints, can't watch them. Baker, can't watch him.
Just go Commanders with Jayden. Now's the time.
No, I don't think I can support Washington.
No. We got rid of Dan Snyder, so.
That's true. Okay. Okay. Packers, maybe. Oh, of course I got my Lions. Come on.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I got my Lions. They'll be in prime time.
The
Solved.
Applebee's assistant manager coach or whatever.
Problem solved. And then we got Dad's Bills, so, we're all in there. But am I holding out hope for the Jets? Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
It'll be a trip. I'm glad to see it happen.
I believe he'll be fine. But Davante, he was going to go to the Saints, but then, I mean, not thankfully, but then Derek Carr got hurt, so Saints didn't have to try to put money they don't have,
Yeah.
up to get him. And then he ended up going to the Jets. So it's like, if Aaron Rodgers retires in a year, like, he's still on the Jets.
He could retire, honestly.
He should get out of there.
He's kind of getting up there.
If he retires, like, Davante Adams needs to go back to the Saints and say, look, I'll give you a hometown deal for my homeboy.
I don't think he's from...
No, it's from the homeboy.
Oh, a Derek Carr deal.
Yeah, exactly.
A car deal, new car deal. There's something there. Used
so
car.
Those are our biggest shocks and disappointments. The Chiefs are good but bad. Chiefs are good, Patrick Mahomes is bad. The Jets are bad, even though we should have known that the Jets were going to be bad. The NFC North is good, but the writing was on the wall there, except I suppose the Vikings were a surprise to go like 4-0. And then, the Saints suck, and that wasn't surprising either. But Sam, when I experience this quite often, I think, and you know this, and I'm a very self-confident person, so it's not great when this happens, because I get even cockier. But what did I say to you early August?
Let's see. Let me pull up the receipt. This was
August 15th.
But yeah, August 15th. Kirby called it. She said feeling good, really good about the Steelers. And look, the Steelers are feeling dangerous. They're 5-2.
They're 5-2. Actually had it in the podcast, apparently. I say Steelers playoff prediction after I get upset about Brian Kelly.
Let's pause. No Brian tonight.
You're right. My mom really hollered at me about that episode. She was like, he's such a nice man. I can't believe you did that to him. I'm like, well, Mom, like, if the man says the team needs to be more in order,
yeah,
and that needs to be fixed, who's supposed to do that? The coach. Sorry, Mom. I swear he's a nice guy, but, like, anyways, they've gotten it back together. But the Steelers, they brought in Justin Fields from the Bears.
And Russell Wilson.
For $1 million. Mr. Unlimited was only $1 million.
Real cheap.
Real cheap
for unlimited.
A very limited amount. And Justin Fields, so right before the season started, Russell Wilson goes down.
Yep.
He's injured, can't start, even though they've been like toying with, they hadn't named a starter, and then sort of right before Mike Tomlin said Russ is our starter, and then, you know, he gets hurt. Because some might say he's an old man.
Yeah.
And it's like, what does that make me middle-aged at 25? Like, I truly cannot believe that you could call these people an old man at 38. But then Justin Fields hops in there and plays some good ball.
Yeah. Gets him to 4-2. Not bad at all.
It's not, like, he was playing okay. They weren't
That's
even,
a wild
like,
card, right?
I mean, like, with the Steelers, since Roethlisberger retired, they're basically only throwing laterals and backward passes.
They've been near 500 in a first-round playoff exit.
And then you get Justin Fields actually throwing down the field. And then Mike Tomlin goes,
better, yeah.
Fuck it. What do we have to lose?
We're feeling dangerous.
Quote, put that on a t-shirt.
I'm sure that it's already on a t-shirt. Mike Tomlin said, you know what? I do want to see Russ cook.
I do too.
And hey, he low-key cooked on Sunday night.
He threw the Russ ball for the first time in a really long time. They call it a moon shot because he just launches that thing down the field, and then I think the receivers are for the first time like,
whoa,
I get to run and catch the ball. I don't have to just run and then jog back.
Yeah,
this
not
is great.
Doing sprints all game.
This is great. It's just like, yeah, it's like track practice for the Steelers wide receivers most of the time. But, I mean, yeah, Russ is back. Russ had a great opening game. So then, you know, you get into this, like, controversy of what's going to go on. Who are they going to go with? And it's like, maybe the guy that's won a Super Bowl, even though that was a long time ago. But, you know, maybe during this offseason, we don't even know. Maybe Russell Wilson learned how to run. Maybe he scrambles now. Maybe Sierra said, here's my moves, baby. This is what I do to stay lean and limber. Just come with me to Pilates. You know, she probably does lifting. And yeah, now he can scramble down the field. You never know. I believe in him. I'm a Russ believer, unfortunately. He's been shot on a good bit, and I don't think it's fair.
Had some rough times in Denver, so.
So yeah, I guess Russell Wilson can be my quarterback that no one's likes that I have to cheer for.
That's true. You found the replacement.
Yeah. And it's now on decent times because, you know, when it was in Broncos, it was like always a weird time kind of game. But yeah, so I guess I solved that.
That's
and what else? Steelers are good.
Yeah.
Steelers to the Super Bowl. Steelers for the playoffs for sure.
They got to.
And a little quarterback controversy, but who cares? As long as they're winning, let's keep it going.
Thing to have, yeah. Real quick.
Yeah.
Final thing. We were talking about refs earlier. What is your like super quick take about the Texas and Georgia game where fans threw water bottles onto the field and then the refs decided to reverse the call on the field? Just completely crazy. Like not even like a penalty on the fans, just like, oh, you guys are right. We don't want to get mugged on the way to our cars. Paint
the picture a little bit more, because this was
it was
unbelievable.
They're playing at Texas. Texas was getting destroyed. A Texas defender intercepts the ball, runs it back for a pick six, and the refs flag on the play. The defensive player got called for pass interference, which would have nullified the whole play and everything.
Yep.
And you know what? The fans aren't happy. So they start hucking and chucking
We got a game
water
break.
bottles, maybe not even water bottles, like beer bottles and stuff onto the field.
As
The
fans
refs are
do.
just there.
Like,
Yeah,
this
the
isn't
refs,
a new thing.
they're just conferring, and after all that, they're like, "All right, you know what? You guys are right. There
I've
was no
never
defensive pass interference."
Seen that. I don't know who was calling the game. Oh, it was Kirk Herbstreit.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, what could they be talking about?"
Are they talking about the bottles right now being thrown on the field? And are they trying to get the... Phil, what do you think this discussion's about?
It could be a discussion about that. Personally, I'd leave it alone. Leave it alone, move on with the game.
There was no defensive pass interference.
Oh, my goodness.
The ball will be at the 9-yard line.
Kirby cannot believe it. So Bill Lamagna, a discussion. They have changed their call, which is an enormous moment in this game.
Yeah.
Are you surprised they changed it, Bill?
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'd like to know.
Like, you don't see that. If there wasn't a challenge flag, if there wasn't an official review, you don't see the call in the field, such as pass interference, get turned around, get reversed.
If it's a horrendous call and obviously wrong, I don't know.
It
The
was
official
like
called
a
it.
maybe, but
Yeah, officials called it, so that's what you got to do.
it was pretty much exactly what Cheryl Reeves wanted
Yeah,
in that last game, for them to be like, "Yeah, you're right, Cheryl, you're totally right. That wasn't
the
a
Lynx
penalty."
fans. They should have learned. Just start throwing stuff on the court if you don't agree.
Exactly.
That's what
Honestly,
those refs told everyone. They're like, hey, Georgia fans, if you guys don't like a call, in your national championship game, just start throwing shit on the field.
That's
we'll
how to
change
do
our
it.
minds.
That's the only way to do it, apparently. Wow, what a situation we've been in with sports, Sam. We'll have to.
It's heating up.
It is heating up. We'll catch you listeners back more often with some more updates, because this one has been a long one and it could go longer. I guess what else? Yankees and Dodgers. I have this under other shit. Yankees and Dodgers in the World Series, and the NBA is back too. So
That's right.
maybe you'll hear more about that. But
Big baseball fans over here. Glad to see the two teams with the highest payrolls make it. They did
exactly.
it.
Oh, and I'm a Knicks fan now.
And she's a Knicks fan.
So thank you for listening. Tune in next time to hear why. And me complain more about the Saints, and hopefully not Brian Kelly. Thank you for joining me.
Shout out Brian.
Sam, you can follow him at SamAld, no underscore.
Alt
Follow
Sam. Yeah.
the Kirby Ferris Show. Like, subscribe, leave us a review, a comment. That's what jumps us up in the ratings, everyone. And tell a friend. If they don't like sports, say, look, it's not really about it.
Yeah.
It's just flavored. It's sports flavored.
Exactly.
It's like Gatorade Zero.
Gatorade. I was gonna say LaCroix or something, but Gatorade Zero.
Gatorade Zero.
Oh, shout out Gatorade.
Truly, if you wanna sign us, I would love a blacked out. Could you imagine a grade black and white thing of me, and then just
The
orange
color
sweat?
of the
That'd be so gross.
as you're going for your flag football reception
I don't think I'd look good like that
with your
at all.
your gloves on backwards.
What recall? Thank you, Sam. Thank you for bringing that up, and thank you for joining.
Shout out.
Bye, all.
See ya.